Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, we're here to talk about The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 7, Ship Faced, because Erica was lit the entire time. So says she. Um, I would like to shout out my new subscriber. Unfortunately, sometimes, most of the time, they don't tell me who the new subscriber is or anything. It's just like there's a new subscriber. But I'm sure you're beautiful, whoever you are, and welcome to the beautiful people family. I appreciate you. And yes, you guys, I am frantic over one, two, three. I don't care. Any new subscribers, family, and I appreciate it. All right, let's get into the episode. It's not going to be very long because it wasn't a whole lot that happened, but we'll talk about it. All right, y'all. So we pick up on the same night, and it's like 10 minutes after 11, and they're going to Diana's room for a nightcap. And I'm like, girl, I am old because 11 o'clock, I would be done. You know how kids used to be like dead to the world, but we know now that that's not cool to say. But I would have been out of it at 11 o'clock. I mean, I know they on vacation and they're working, but ooh, I was just like, and they still drinking. Diana said she wants tequila. She want to have some fun. I'm like, you don't look like fun. She don't look like fun at all. Um, so they're sitting down, and Erica's telling her, I told Sutton you made the new girl cry. And she's like, let's not just talk about it. Let's not talk about that. And let me just say, because I don't think did I do last week? Did I? I don't know. But I don't disagree with Sutton making her cry one bit. First of all, I felt like, what are you crying for? Like, really, what are you crying for? Secondly, the stuff she said to Sutton, I don't give a shit that Sutton made her cry. That's exactly what you get. You can't just pop off saying whatever you want and inserting yourself in stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with you, Diana. But Kyle and Sutton's on their way to the room, and uh, Kyle is like, "Do you think the door will be open?" Sutton's like, "Well, maybe to you." I'm like, "Good one, Sutton." Yeah, I'm so proud of Sutton this season. I'm so proud of her standing up for herself. Oh, excuse me. Because we know when she came on, she stood up for herself a little bit when she, was at the table, and she's like, what did she say? Let the mouse go, let it go, let it go. Something she was saying. I mean, she was trying to stick up for herself, but ultimately, they kind of just all got on her, and since she was new, she just let it go. But now she is all over it, and I'm not mad because, like Sutton said, she's not scared of none of them, and I love it. I love the fact that she speaks her mind now. She's still quirky, she really is. It's still a goof troop that can't really dress, but she's coming into her own for this whole reality thing. So when Kyle and Sutton come in, Diana's like, ugh. And I'm just like, bitch, shut up. She can come in if she wants to. She's a part of this cast. And listen, Diana just got to get over stuff. Shut your mouth, stay out of it, and you won't be pissed off. Y'all. So in the confessional, Kyle said, listen, just because we had a fight, that means nothing to us. We will come to your room. We will drink your alcohol, even if you're mad at us. Period. So then we're sitting, and Erica's asking Sutton about her ex-husband and if he's still single. And Kyle is like, she would love to meet him. She's like, no, I'm not asking for me. I'm like, yes, you are, because he got money, right? Sutton's ex-husband. And then Kyle asked Diana if she's still friends with her husband. She says, yes, we're really good friends. She got half. She said, we decided to split everything, what we made together in the marriage. And then they show where she got half. And I don't know their business, but she probably didn't come in, contributing that much because she seems a little dingbatty. She really does. Like, I feel like she is on another planet. Like, she's a space cadet for real, or at least that's how she comes off. You got to talk to her. I don't know. I just feel like whenever people talk to her, it takes her a while to register and then answer. Am I the only one? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Is that too mean? But it's true. Like, that's what I get from her. And then we see Kyle, and she's talking about her first ex-husband, and he's never remarried, and she feels bad because he was he's a good guy. And I'm like, girl, he looked about 80 when you were young and married him. So I mean, he did look better now when he came. I guess they had maybe a graduation or something, but he looked so much older than Kyle. And yeah, and Kyle looks so different than how she looks now. So to her plastic surgeon, Job well done. Job well done. And she needed that. That's mean. Y'all. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so Erica and Sutton are talking at the table, being civil, and Sutton's telling her they're still talking about ex-husbands, and Sutton's saying how she, he's cool or whatever. She just couldn't wait to get from up under his thumb, and Erica's like, "Yeah, do you think I'll ever get from up under this situation? I didn't even do it." And Sutton's like, "Do you feel any sort of responsibility at all? Do you feel responsible at all?" And she's like, "No." Oh, she's like, does a doctor's wife feel responsible for his patients? And Sutton's like, interesting point. And might I add or point out that their necklaces, all these Sutton's necklace, Erica's necklace, and even Erica's necklace in the confessional, ma'am, yes, ma'am, they are doing the necklaces right. So Erica says she wished that she and Sutton could have more talks where it's just a regular back and forth, and she's like, we get there and then something just blows up. And I'm like, yeah, normally it's you in your mouth. All right, so it's the next morning at like 8:20, and I'm like, Jesus, y'all was up that late, and then you up at 8:20. I'm telling y'all, I'm so old. We see the ladies getting ready. Renna, her hair's all over her head. She look a mess, but it's all right. It's 8:20 in the morning. She's having coffee, talking to the bird, talking about her mom again, and the fact that some people will understand that she came, some people will not, and her mom would have wanted her to be here. Pretty much everyone grieves differently. I get it. Then we have Sutton. She's getting her makeup done, talking to the makeup artist about what she did with Diana, and she did go over and apologize. So they showed a flashback of that, and she was very nice and got up and went over and apologized. And Diana was just kind of shooing her off, like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And I'm like, bitch, like, I just cannot stand Diana. And we're not even going to talk about what happened, recently online with her being racist and everything. You can look at her and tell she got racist face. So I'm not surprised. But yeah, so they're getting ready to go. So then the ladies are having breakfast. And it's interesting that we have Kyle, Renna, and Dorit. Yeah, Dorit gets on my nerves with her. Kyle is telling them that they missed it because Erica and Sutton were talking like friends and everything, and Dorit's like, "What?" She's just so over dramatic. She gets on my nerves. And then we have not Kyle, Dorit, not Dorit. We have Sutton, Garcelle, and Crystal. And Crystal was telling Garcelle how close they were. Oh, they were like Bobsy twins and best friends. So Sutton tells her, slow down, calm down. We were not Bobsy twins. She's just like, Erica was very talkative. And Garcelle is like, yeah, she's on pills and now she's happy and nothing happened. And she's in the confessional, Garcelle, saying, listen, I just feel like what Erica's doing is a distraction. She's trying to act like she is having so much fun and she's on these pills and everything because she don't want to talk about what's going on. And she's like, nothing has been settled with this whole situation. And Sutton is like, true. Y'all, so their food comes and it looks good. I don't eat pork, but the eggs and stuff look fluffy. So Garcelle talks to Sutton and she's like, give me that bacon. You're not going to eat that bacon. And I'm like, she is going to eat that bacon. Didn't you hear? Like, what's her name? Diana said it a billion times. She's a vegan that eats bacon. And Sutton is like, oh, and then Crystal says it. Yeah, she's a vegan that eats bacon. And excuse me. Sutton is like, I eat one piece of bacon a day on vacation. And I'm like, yeah, but still. And excuse me, I feel like if Garcelle wouldn't ask for that piece of bacon, that piece of bacon would have been gone. So they go back to talking about Erica, and Sutton is like, I just have some questions. And Garcelle is like what? She's like, I just want to know why she was so mad at me and she threatened to kill me. And I'm just like, you're about to go all the way backwards. And even though I'm not, I told y'all Garcelle is not my fave. She's not my fave. But she is just like saying some of the stuff. Now that I'll give to her. She says some of the stuff that we all be thinking. So she was just like, you already know why. And she's like, because I called her a liar. And I'm like, there you go. Like, you already know. So why are you going back to this girl? They just be on these shows, it just be semantics with them. They just be like, give me an apology or I'm never talking to you. Give me an apology. Give me an apology. And I'm like, I'm sorry is suddenly gonna make you feel better. Like all this stuff they be doing just be ridiculous. And then Crystal says, well, you call me a liar. And they actually didn't even really get off into that. I'm like, Crystal gets no love anymore. Yeah, so Sutton actually checks Crystal, real quick and said, look, we made up from that. And so what we're not going to do and what we do not do is go back to that. Because she's talking about, you call me a liar. And I'm just kind of held on to it. Garcella's like, is that something you do all the time? Just hold on to things. She's saying, yeah. And Sutton says, that is why people think you're manipulative. And Garcelle says, yeah, like you weaponize things. And Crystal's like, manipulative is not a word that describes me. And I'm like, this girl and her words. I swear to God, like you have to choose your words very carefully with Crystal, or else she's gonna have an issue with you, and that's ridiculous. But the whole thing is ridiculous because the other three are over there. Kyle, Renna, and Dory talking about Crystal and the fact that she's young. She married young. She's never had to stand up on her own. She's never really had to, they feel like what she does is just second nature and she doesn't realize that she plays the victim all the time. I'm so disinterested. I have no interest in Crystal whatsoever. So I'm totally removed from this whole conversation. So we find out that Crystal believes that it just takes her a very long time to process. And it's not like she's holding on to anything to weaponize it, but she's processing it and pretty much hoping that it'll go away. However, it usually comes up at the most inopportune times or whatever. And yeah, Garcelle and Sutton's like, you need to update your processor. Like, make that shit go faster. And she's like, she's going to work on it. So, yay, we got to the bottom of Crystal, even though who cares? Yeah, so now they're on the way to the marina and they get in the van and Erica's just so lit off of Xanax and she wants her margarita. And when I tell you she said like 12 billion times, I'm so fucked up. I'm so lit. I'm so drunk. And I'm like, people just don't do that. When they're drunk, they don't say I'm so drunk. They just try to keep drinking because they don't realize they're so drunk or whatever. Like, nobody does that. She is putting 20 on 10, shout out to Rocks, and it's getting on my nerves. And all the women are like, yeah, I've been knowing her for 7 years. I've never seen her like this. So I've watched a review, and somebody was like, they feel like Garcelle said, she's putting on so that she doesn't have to talk about her situation. Because, yeah, if I'm too drunk or anything, then you can't really ask me about what's going on in my real life. So all of this, I'm lit, I'm drunk. It was ridiculous, this whole episode. So they get on the boat, and Diana is just not impressed with this boat because I've chartered some really great yachts in my day. And then they show her $375,000 a week yacht that she rented out before. And she's like, it isn't, it's nice, but it's not a luxury boat. It's a day boat. And she's looking at all the other girls like being super happy about this boat, like peasants. Ugh. I cannot stand Diana. Did I say that? Even though she look cute right here. I ain't gonna lie, with her little Gucci hat on, Balenciaga swimsuit, the little white button down. It's cute, but she's irritating. All right, so on this boat, a bunch of nothing happens really. Like Erica, of course, once again, laying down, talking about how lit she is. She used to have a boat like this. It was called the Illegal, and I'm like, go figure. The girls holler at another boat. The guy pulls out his thing, and Giselle calls it the C word, as opposed to saying he pulled out his thing or his penis or something like that. And I'm like, girl, you're black. We don't use the C word like that. And Diana was like, but it was so limp. And I'm like, ugh. But yeah, so again, it's all about Erica and her drunken stupor that she's in. It's ridiculous and boring. All right, so then we have Giselle, Sutton, and Diana sitting at the top of the boat talking about, how Diana grew up and if she had siblings. She had a brother that was a peacekeeper officer or whatever, and he ended up dying. They told her that he was missing or they couldn't find him or something like that. And then he ended up being found in a ditch with 2 bullets in his head. So they're all like, oh my God, that's terrible. And Sutton just, talking to her, and they really are just learning each other. Like, She's like, you know what? It's very traumatic because I lost my dad to suicide. And when it happened, and it happened so sudden, and you don't get to say goodbye, it's really awful. So it did tie in together. And when I tell you, Diana didn't say anything, there was no sorry, or I mean nothing. She just in her confessional said that all roads lead back to Sutton. Like her what she said was totally irrelevant to what I had just said. And I'm like, it's not true. She tied it in. She was talking about how you don't get to say goodbye, when unplanned deaths happen. And I just can't stand Diana. So she got up and walked away. And I'm like, don't try to get to know her. Fuck her. Don't try to get to know her. So all the ladies are eating, and the weirdest thing, they were talking about, going for a swim, and Crystal's like, I'm gonna take off my clothes, and as she's taking off her cover up, she goes over to Giselle and starts like trying to put her under her wrap or whatever, and Giselle is like, why are you always coming to me? I don't get it. I didn't get it. So of course this opens the door for Erica to be like, would you have a threesome or foursome with me and Garcelle and your husband? And I'm like, I wouldn't even be playing with her with them questions. Listen, I need you to stop talking about all these women and their husbands, Erica. It's super creepy. And Crystal just says, listen, that does nothing for her. But Erica is being vulgar with the P word and all that. And yeah, nothing much happening. All right, yeah, I'm gonna speed it up to get this done. After the boat ride, they're getting ready for dinner, and Sutton is in glam, and she's calling Giselle to see what she's wearing. Giselle's wearing a long flowy dress. She's like, perfect. Her stylist pulls up this dress that is like, it looks like old school wedding dress for real. I mean, there's lace, like it just looks like an old lady bridal dress. And I'm like, and you have a stylist? Like, he needs to be fired immediately. So the ladies are sitting at the bar, and when Sutton walks up, Giselle is like, here comes the bride. And I'm like, yes. Garcelle. Did I call her Giselle? Lord, Garcelle. And then Erica comes, and Kyle starts singing It's Expensive to Be Me, girl. Even though I think that's cute what Kyle has on. That little button down, that shirt dress, cute. And Giselle is like, not Giselle, Garcelle is talking to Erica, and she's like, are you having coffee? And I'm like, girl, quit trying to be everybody's mama. Like, seriously, I get it. And I'm sure she gets it. She overdid it. But you're not everybody's mama, Garcelle. So at this dinner, Garcelle is inviting them to her birthday party, and unfortunately, Rena can't be there because Harry Hamlin has something. And she's like, "Dang, you're not gonna be there." And Lisa Rinna's gonna be. I'm not Lisa Rinna. Denise Rich is gonna be there, and I'm just like, again, Garcelle, she does too much, y'all. She be in everybody's business a little too much. She is just very involved. She really is. And I will be like, girl, mind your business. Like, you are not over me and Denise. And I'll talk to her when I want to talk to her. But anyway, Denise, not Denise, what's her name? Rena says that she actually called her. They had a little text exchange. It was like 2 minutes. Garcelle in the confessional text Denise Richards, and she's just like, talk to her when, and kind of like she didn't really talk to her. Who cares? I don't care. Rena ain't shit. She ain't. I never liked Rena. Rena is, yeah, I'm trying to work on calling people trash. But yeah, I don't like Rena. I don't really like none of these girls, I told y'all. But yeah, so that's it with that. Garcelle needs to mind her business. And everybody's saying that she's producing. Her and Kyle doing all this producing and trying to move the show along, which I guess it works because it is entertaining, but she just does too much. I'm sorry, y'all, fave is not my fave. So down at the other end of the table, Sutton and Erica talking, and Sutton is saying she got a date when they get back. She's like, "Where'd you meet him?" "On the Bumble." And Erica's like, "The Bumble?" So she's showing her, and then we have Crystal and Dory, like all of them, like, "Oh my God, can you believe it? Can you believe them? Can you believe it?" And then they start talking about how they're talking. And to me, I was just like, oh my God, can y'all just let stuff happen? Why is that a conversation to be had? And I was actually happy when Sutton and Erica were just like, listen, calm down. It's a conversation. Like, y'all all doing way too much. And yeah, I was happy because I feel like Sutton is in the same exact place that Erica is in at this point. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But these women make a big deal out of everything. All right, so after dinner, it's like after midnight, and Kyle, and I'm sorry, she didn't have on a button down shirt dress. It was just a shirt and some slacks. It was still cute, it's fine, but it wasn't as cute as I thought it was. But Diana, Dorit, and Kyle go to have a cocktail, and they're talking about how, everybody's getting along, and Kyle is like, yeah, Sutton talked to you like that. You're not used to people talking to you like that. And Dorita's like, yeah, she was way out of left field. Yo, I did not hear any of them having this kind of conversation with Erica when she did it. When she did it to Sutton, nobody said, Erica, calm down. And it's just funny that Erica was the one that told Sutton to stop. Seriously? But anyway, Diana's just like, she's just, they don't know. She contradicts herself. And then once again, we got to hear about the vegetarian and the bacon. Girl, why? Why are we entertaining this shit? I'll be glad when next season comes. She's not going to be there. I feel like everything that she did on social media recently and the fact that she's boring as all get out, she's not going to be back. And I will be happy not to see her. So this lady then says that Sutton could have got headbutted. She's been working on herself, but I am Bosnian. And I'm like, but you went the total different route. Like, you went from being super Bosnian headbutting champion to crying. Like, I don't get it. And so, of course, we have Dorit and Kyle in the confessional. I wouldn't want to mess with her. They so scared of everybody. Kyle is definitely scared of everybody. I know she's scared of Erica like crazy. But Diana, shut the hell up. So they're getting on Diana's flight home, and Sutton, I guess we can just overhear Sutton saying, well, I guess I'll just sit over here then. And she's like, yeah, I think, everybody sat, originally. And then Sutton and Garcelle are sitting together, and Garcelle's like, tell me exactly what happened. Sutton put a little bit on it. She put a little stank on it, y'all, because she was like, yeah, I asked if I could sit with you guys. And she was like, no, sit where you sat coming. And I mean, in certain terms she said that, I guess, but Sutton made it sound a lot worse, but it was still rude. Like Garcelle said, it's rude. If I had a plane, I'm not telling anybody where to sit on the plane. Like, who has assigned seating on their plane? My thing is, it's her plane. If that's what she want to do, yeah, it's rude. I'm not on her side at all. But yeah. Yeah, and then it pretty much ends on the plane or whatever with Sutton shitting on him, saying, listen, I can get my own plane. And Garcelle's like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. I'm like, yeah, you better hype her up. Yeah, I don't know where I missed it, but somewhere in the episode, what's her name? Diana was saying how she enjoy everybody, she love everybody, this and that. And of course, Garcelle was just like, I feel like you're full of crap or whatever. And Diana is saying that the only person that she doesn't feel connected to is Garcelle because Garcelle was not very, open and forthcoming and trying to get to know her. And I'm like, because nobody wants to get to know you. Like, we don't want to see you next season. So what's the point? But that's the end of the episode, you guys. If you are still here, you are the real MVP. Again, I want to shout out my new subby. And thank you guys. If you have not already subscribed, please do. I would appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.